Not the molestation or the rapes. It's not the healing that I had to go through to be made whole. Not the betrayal or the depression, nor was it the 2 attempts at suicide. No, it wasn't when I found out that my husband had a full family across town. It was not being able to hear my own voice. On the inside, all I heard was silent screams. The pain that I didn't have the words to express. Not being able to hear your own voice and allowing someone else's to dictate the narrative of your life says that healing from the inside is necessary. For the most part, it starts when we're children. There's some type of childhood memory that has us stuck with how we handle relationships and how we handle ourselves. I went through so much to come through the other side. Please let me show you how to heal by moving forward one step at a time and letting go of all of the pain and the hurt that has you in a place of silence. Let's go. Welcome back to Destiny Love TV. This is Destiny Love. I'm glad you joined us today, but this is going to be a different type of podcast. We're going to speak about some things that are very difficult to look at and difficult to deal with. So I'm going to let you know right away that this may cause a trigger response, and I want you to know that right away. And if you feel like you're not ready to deal with the trauma that you may have experienced in recent times or in the past, then perhaps you might want to not listen to this particular podcast and come back to it when you're ready. I explained from the beginning when we started the podcast that we were going to go higher, but to go higher, you have to go deeper. No different than when they're building a skyscraper, a very tall building. They have to dig deep in order to lay the foundation to go taller, to go higher in order to support the height. So that's what we're about to do. Are you ready to live without all that pain? Okay, let's talk about the pain. Okay, so now let's talk about the pain. When you are in deep pain, you can't heal it by yourself. And you certainly can't fix it by keeping it a secret. First of all, you have to acknowledge it. And what I call sit in it. Look at it and recognize and admit that you're hurting. And then you have to also realize that there is an entity that is higher than we are. If you don't believe in God, whatever higher power, whatever spiritual being you believe in, you must believe that that being has more power and strength than you do. Otherwise, how could they be your God? I want to talk to you about how to start to get rid of the pain of being violated, whether it be sexually, and that's pretty much what we're going to talk about today, or you were rejected or abused as a child, raped, molested, beaten. I've had all the above. And there is hope and peace and a new life on the other side. Let's talk about it. Let's find your voice. We all have one. It's that thing that's in your gut that tells you that you should go left when everybody else is telling you to go straight. It's that thing in your knower when you just know a thing, but you don't go for it because everybody else's voice is drowning yours out. This is how we start to release the pain, by literally acknowledging, as I said earlier, that you're hurting. And take that little girl or that little boy inside of you and embrace them and let them know, I'm here now. And we're going to fix this thing so we can move forward and be safe. That might sound a little weird, but I'm sure many of you have been hearing about the inner child. Embrace your inner child. I have been doing inner healing for the inner child for over 20 years. I was a very young woman after going through so much, finding my way to the other side and wanting to help so many other people who I knew were hurting just like I was and just like I had just come through. And I recognized by going through the inner healing experience, which is part of who I am and what I do, that when you do that, you are set free at the core, at the root of a thing. Because how many times, as you look at the screen, and I probably should have said this earlier, but it won't hurt for you to go back and take a look. I've included a lot of visuals this time to help you really understand, as I said in the title, let me show you what it looks like to heal. What healing looks like. Looking in the mirror and seeing that little one within you and acknowledging that you are scared, or you feel abandoned, or you're hurt, or you don't understand why you've been so abused as though you are unimportant. God is real. Whatever your higher power is, I want to talk to you about my God, which I've always told you is love. But first of all and foremost, as we spoke about last time, you have to love yourself. And this is how we're going to start. By taking that one thing that has been nagging in the back of your mind that you haven't told anybody about, or you spoke about it once, never brought it up again, but you know that it hurts you still, or you find that it is disrupting your life, or creating boundaries that shouldn't be there between you and your husband, you and your wife, you and your children. You're acting like your mama when you said you never would. You're behaving like your uncle. Huh? Your father had nothing but horrible things to say to you. You're constantly trying to please him. And now you've seen that spill over into the workplace, right? And in your relationships. Nothing you do is good enough, and you're constantly trying to strive, becoming a perfectionist, but you're not satisfied on the inside. Who touched you? Who violated you? I want you to get that person in your mind, and I'm going to show you how we are going to get rid of that pain that they created that didn't belong to you and heal that child within. That's where it starts. Come on, the law of first mention. Where did the thing start? That's what they want to know when they're coming to do your plumbing. That's what they want to know when there's a leak in your roof. That's what they want to know when they do an MRI, when they do what? An upper GI, when they do what? An EKG, when they do all of those tests in the hospital to look inside to find out where it started so they can stop it and fix it. So look at me as a surgeon, because I have become that when it comes down to getting rid of those things that are ailing you on the inside, allowing you to be made whole again. You know that video I showed you earlier? Go back to that time. Go back to that season Go back to the happiest time of your life, and then we're going to find out when it was disrupted. Before we close, I love you. And I'm so sorry you had to go through the stuff you went through to cause you so much pain. And just when you thought it was over, something else happened and somebody else did it to you again. We don't want to draw that anymore. And I promise you, I'm going to help you get through this. So let me close with this. Let's go back. Can you remember days like this?
Here come the hot stepper. I'm the lyrical gangster. Big up the crew in the area. Still love you like that. No, we don't die. Yes, we multiply. Anyone press me, the fire they sing. Act like you know we go. I know what both don't know. Touch them up and go. Oh, this is changing. Here come the hot stepper. I'm the lyrical gangster. Pick up the crew in the area. Still love you like that. Here come the hot stepper. I'm the lyrical gangster. Excuse me, Mr. Officer.
First of all, your inner voice, your intuition, or your first mind, if you will, all of that is just your spirit. This is what it sounds like. It is a silent call of submission. It is a beckoning for you to surrender. It is a soft, gentle breeze flowing through your mind with ease, knowing that because you heard it, everything was going to be all right. It is the voice that I long to hear for the rest of my life. It brought me hope and joy felt deep within. But when it was silence, the pain was nearly unbearable and difficult to maintain. An incessant echo in my brain, an echo that ran deeper than I can explain. That voice introduced me to my destiny, which came as a surprise. It brought about a glow that I cannot hide. To be detached from it is like being detached from life itself. It brought me safety like none else, more precious than gold, refined in the fire, creating a burning desire to hear more and more. Addicted to the tone, it put me in the zone. It is the material for my book. It is the wound of my art. It is the canvas for my heart to paint a picture of what is real and true. It is the glue that I didn't even know existed until it persisted, and it turned my winter into spring and made me want to sing again. It began with soft-spoken, spectacular ambiguity, evolving into hope deferred. But it is an unshakable and unmovable, a penetrating connection, an impact that does not lack. But in fact, it's my choice to hear that voice. When you are violated sexually as a child, it changes you. It shapes you differently than the children around you, because something has been awakened in you that was not meant to be awakened in you until much later in your life. So that means your childhood was stolen. That's something you need to grieve. It's that little girl and that little boy inside that needs you to help them to feel safe, because you as the adult can handle it now. But that little scared child in you needs to know that you'll never allow that to happen to you again. And for those of you like me who was molested as a child, and we got to know, those of us who've been through it, it either causes you to be promiscuous, or you gain weight to keep him off you, or You develop sexual relationships with same gender and become same gender loving. Or you develop eating disorders. And all of that is to try and control the situation the way a child does when they have no power. You have the power now. Because the power of life and death is in your tongue. It's in what you say. Before you say another word to yourself that's negative and insult and further damage that little kid in you, acknowledge what was done to you was not your fault and it was wrong. But what about when you enjoyed it because you knew no different? And now the guilt is terrorizing you. Breathe. I know. There's hope for you too. It wasn't your fault. The body is meant to feel certain things. No one told that violator to awaken that in you at a point when you're not only too young, but not even having the ability to understand what was going on. It caused you to see authority different. It caused you to develop insecurities. It caused you to feel like perhaps I'm not worthy of love. Maybe you thought that that is what love is. So that's how you've operated in relationships. We can go on and on about that, and we will. But right now I want to pause and say that I'm a life coach and I'm an inner healing facilitator. As you know, my website is always in the description box. And I am going to offer my services to my channel for free until the end of the year. So if you suffered sexual violation of any kind, abuse by a spouse, a lover, a sibling, a parent, a grandparent, I want to know about it so I can help you through it. If you have been stuck going around in circles, finding yourself with the same people in the same situations, decade after decade, moment after moment, and you have no idea why, it's because there's some unhealed, unresolved pain. Let me help you heal. This is Destiny Love TV, and we have so much more to discuss about this subject. But remember this. My God is love. Whether you believe in God or not, whether you believe in my God or not, if you are bold enough to just say, God, if you're real, can you help me? Next time I'm going to share with you the moment that I asked God to help me. I said, if you're real, and check this out, I have been in church and on stage since I was 10 and singing about God and all of that. But I was in a lot of pain and I didn't know how to get rid of it. And I saw him doing things, so they said, around me. But what about me? Can you do it for me? Well, he did. And I'm going to tell you how. We love you over here at DLTV. And we're grateful you joined us. Hey, Javitha, I would love to hear from you. How are you? Have you suffered any abuse? There's someone else that I want to ask too, but I'm going to put that in the description box. I know there are scammers, but I believe the real one will stand up and tell us what she thinks. God bless you. Take care. We'll see you soon.